Hi everyone, my name is Tom Yoder, and I'm giving a family tribute. I got two important things. I've got my comments today, and I got my full Kleenex, box of Kleenex, because I am going to need it. You know, when I sat down to pay tribute and celebrate the life of Gordon, I started with a blank piece of paper, at least in my mind, and the first thing that popped into my mind was brat. Brat. Not Gordon, me. I was an Army officer, Salvation Army officer's brat growing up. Some of you might know, and you can blame this on my parents. Major Warren and Judy Yoder were my parents. You might know my brother, some of you might know my brother, Steve Yoder. He's Major Steve Yoder, and his wife, Laura, are at the training college in Chicago. And one of the best things about being a brat, and you probably never thought there was a best thing about being a brat, is that I got to meet my future wife, Carol Palmer, who became Carol Yoder. And through that, who did I get to meet? Gordon, of course, and Pearl, and Jill, and Doreen. See, Carol and I met at the Salvation Army Echo Grove camp in Leonard, Michigan. That was the Eastern Division at the time. I don't know if it's still Eastern, but in a small town called Leonard, Michigan. And it was a summer, 37 years ago. And I had one of the most important jobs at the camp, and you probably didn't realize this. I was the pots and pans boy. If you don't have clean pots and pans, the cook doesn't cook or make the food. And if there's no food, the campers get very upset. So I had a very critical position at the camp. And Carol worked in the kitchen. She served food, she cleaned up. And after that summer, you know what happened? We stayed together. It was a long-distance love affair. Who would have thought? And it was just classic. And for those that are from Michigan and those that are not, you can put up your left hand, put your thumb to the right. Midland, Michigan, in the middle, up here. Walled Lake, down here. 2 hours. 2 hours away. That was the love affair. So when I used to visit, the other thing that came to mind was, there'll be things here and there, was breakfast alone with Gordon. Pretty scary thought, eh? So I'd go down every once in a while on the weekends. I would visit the Palmers. Visit Carol. The Palmers were there. And it was 1900 Moon Lake Road, I still remember. Beautiful house. Big white columns, property, just gorgeous. In fact, when I'm out on a motorcycle ride once in a while, I'll still drive by there. I'll go out and say, I want to pass the house and reminisce and just see it, where they grew up and where I used to see Carol. And I'm like, I'll go down and I'll go for breakfast, and Carol's like 2 hours doing her hair upstairs. It's like, where's Carol? And then there's breakfast, but where's Pearl? Pearl must have made the breakfast. So there's Gordon in the formal dining room, sitting in his normal chair. There's this 17-year-old long-haired brat sitting next to him. I'm like, talk about intimidation. I was like, what is this? Is this my first test of the Palmer family of Gordon? It was just amazing. And you know what the good news was? Gordon could tell stories and fill the whole time, so I didn't have to say anything. You know what the bad news was? Gordon could tell stories and I had to listen. No, he was by far the best storyteller around. His eyes, it pierced, the feelings, the laughter, the whatever. He would bring things to life that was just incredible, but those first breakfasts, and I called him Mr. Palmer. I don't think it was till 20 years later I actually said Gordon or Pearl. I could say, I'd tell Carol, hey, your dad wants you or something, but Mr. Palmer. But those breakfasts. The next thing that came to mind, support. Gordon always supported us, me, especially when my dad died early, 48. I practiced this, I couldn't get through. Gordon and Pearl were always there my whole life. And I remember when Carol and I first started dating. All right, I might as well use some of this since you're here. When we first started dating, from the very beginning, I remember you loaned us a brown car. I think it was a brown Bomber or Brougham or whatever it was. Back then, the cars were huge. And we went to Carol's prom. And it was down at the Detroit Renaissance Center, which some of you don't know, it's a huge building downtown. We had a great time. But what's ironic is, later on, that became General Motors Road Headquarters, and that's where I've worked to this day. I've worked with General Motors almost 30 years. And down at that same Renaissance that started back, and then I think about that, From dating to when we got married in 1986, Carol and I, 30 years, over 30 years, it's just amazing. It's been awesome. It's been great. But one thing that comes to mind about marriage, I was down in Plymouth, Michigan, a beautiful little town, and in this little store, it had this sign that said, the first 50 years of marriage is the hardest. So I've got 30 years in, 20 years more, and I'm on Easy Street, so I'm there. But through our marriage, Gordon was there. Through my 3 boys, Evan, Mitchell, Andrew. Twins happened to run in the Palmer family. I don't know if you know that. Pearl's a twin. He was there. When the kids went to college, Gordon and Pearl helped financially, helped encouragement, asked how it was going. They were always there through the college years. And then after the college years, where Carol and I are today, we're empty nesters. And Gordon was still there. Pearl was still there. And through it all, it was just unconditional love. Just being there through the ups. We had so many countless blessings. I got more blessings through my life than I ever deserved. Gordon was there. Pearl was there. And on some of the downs, through life, it's not always ups, as we know today. Through the downs, he was always there. And like I said, unconditional support. Every step, every phase of our life, from dating to empty nesters. Even today, some of the things that are going on this week, Gordon still has his hand in. Another thing, golf. He loved golf. You guys like golf. There's a lot of golfers in there. I love golf. He wanted to be best. I wanted to be the best. We weren't the best, but we wanted to beat each other. He was amazing. But I don't know if you know this, Gordon made one of the biggest mistakes in golf ever. I don't know if you've heard this. For some reason, I still to this day don't understand it. Out of the blue, he bought Pearl a set of golf clubs. And she became the best golfer. I wanted to be the best. He wanted to be the best. No, Pearl became the best. And that was because of Gordon. That was his fault. Oh, man. But the one thing, the downside of that was Pearl became very greedy. This is a family secret. We'll just keep it here. Don't tell anyone else outside of this room. Because you probably don't view Pearl as greedy. She didn't just get 1 hole-in-one. She had to go and get 2 hole-in-ones. And Gordon was shut out. I was shut out. I am still to this day looking for my first hole-in-one. And I will get one day. Music. Gordon loved music. Especially the Salvation Army band, brass music. He loved being a member of the Salvation Army. He loved wearing his uniform. When you look at the picture on the brochure or see him in his uniform, he is just unbelievable. You can just see the pride, not the pride in himself, but the pride in God and the pride in the Salvation Army. Me, as far as music, my 3 brothers and sister played music instruments growing up. You know, it was trombone, cornet, the rest of it. Me being the brat that I am, a little rebellious that I am, after 2 months I declared to my parents, I am done playing. That's it. That's my musical career. I will say, I used to tell Gordon, I play a mean stereo, loud and proud, and that was about it. In fact, this week I found for the first time you can actually turn the volume left. I never knew that. But I came to appreciate Gordon and the music right here, through driving on a Sunday morning, maybe down to Dearborn Heights band while he was practicing. He just had a God-given talent and a real hunger and appreciation for music. So I'd just like, on behalf of Gordon, if we could just give a round of applause and recognize these band's people and what a great job. And walking in and hearing you guys this morning, it was special. It was very special. So thank you. I don't know if you know this, but Gordon was Scottish, and he was kind of proud of being Scottish. I see a few Scots. He was a proud Scotsman. And my grandpa's Scottish, and he's from Eyemouth, and I'm very proud of my background. And you probably have heard before, you know, there's 2 kinds of people. Scottish and those that want to be Scottish. So I don't know which one you are, but hopefully you're Scottish. I remember, like I said, when I used to go to the Palmers, you know, to visit, they would have something called tripe or haggis or something. Why do you want to do something with the sheep's guts or goats? I to this day cannot understand it. I always said we should just have roast beef and Yorkshire pudding and Kit Kats. I never knew what a Kit Kat was until I went to their place. I used to get Kit Kats. But Gordon, besides golf, I think his other second favorite hobby was eating. He loved to eat. He loved food. He would eat anything. And the best thing was when he was only going to have one plate because he was cutting down. He didn't want to eat too much. He would literally take one plate this way. But it would go this way. And I don't know how. He said, well, I only had one plate of food. But he loved to eat. And he was amazing. Oh, one other story. Up in Michigan, there's a place called Frankenmuth. Carol had just graduated college. It's a Bavarian, a German Bavarian. You go up there, you get the family style. You get everything. You get chicken, you get mashed potatoes, you get gravy, you get whatever you want. There was only one thing missing, and only Gordon could spot that. No peas. Really? Who wants peas? I mean, I can't eat peas. And I think there's something about that because when Carol makes a recipe, she always tries to hide peas in my recipe. I like peas and vinegar because you can't taste the peas if you put vinegar on it. I've been to Scotland now 3 times. I'm blessed to go because Carol, we want to go over because Pearl and Gordon taking the first time we went over and taking us around, went up to Skye, went all over. It's a great country. It's got awesome culture, awesome history. The people are just great. On the last day that we went, when the boys graduated college a couple years ago, our twins, we went over and the last day, I don't know if it was 40 relatives, it was countless relatives, and we just really had a great time with them and getting to know them. So if you don't get along with your relatives, what you have to do is just see them every 10 years and you'll appreciate them. Tough guy. He could come across opinionated sometimes and tough from the outside, but inside, he had the biggest heart in the world. He loved Pearl, Jill, Doreen, Carol. Did I tell you Carol's my favorite daughter most of the time? And he loved them. He loved his grandkids. He loved me. And I think he must have loved you or touched you in some way, because you're here on a Friday morning to celebrate a life, to someone somewhere along the way. He touched you. He loved you. You know, like I know, what a good man Gordon was and still is. What a gentleman. Someone whose word meant something in today's society. People just say whatever now. He is a good man. Okay, this is last. This is in conclusion. The thing that came to mind is faith. So if you haven't been listening to me, at least listen this time. Because this isn't last but least. This is last but most important. And important to Gordon and to me. He had strong faith. He knew whose hands he was in to lend. He really did. I just don't have hope. I have assurance that one day, if you believe in Jesus Christ, like I know a lot of you do in here, and maybe some of you don't, but you better start thinking about it. If you don't, if you want to see Gordon again, if you want to be on the other side, you need to believe, and Gordon did. So I have great assurance that I will see Gordon one day. Because, yeah, I was a brat. Yeah, I was rebellious, and I still fight rebellion. I still, it comes out on authority and things where I'd like to be a little more rebellious, but I don't. I stand here today before each of you as a true believer and follower. Gordon lived well. He lived an awesome life because of his faith. Because out of that faith, he loved his family. He loved you guys. He loved God. Excuse me. And I am really going to miss him. Probably more than I realize right now. In the fog. And as Carol said, and I've said many times, this is surreal. But I am going to miss him. Okay, so while he might be gone on this side, on the other side, and we talked a little bit about this morning, on the other side in heaven, I can see Gordon enjoying himself. That one day we will see him again with no pain, no suffering, no tears. And I have no problem with tears because I loved Gordon. And just maybe Gordon and I, if I don't get it down here, we'll get a hole in one while we're there too. And no, Pearl, you don't get any more hole-in-ones. Two's plenty. Don't get greedy. So what I would say is, whether you play golf or not, it's an awesome game, but you need to be ready. You need to have faith. You need to know where you put your trust today, because we don't know. I don't know when my time's going to come, but I'm ready. That one day, and this is a celebration of life, is we are going to have even a bigger celebration of life when we get back with Gordon. So what I want to say is, I just want to thank Gordon for everything that he's done for me, for the family, each of you guys, for everyone in this room, and that he has blessed me with his life. So thank you very much.